Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Listen In with Kelsey and Andrea.
Hey guys.
So this podcast is going to be more about different things that you would find entertaining and different things that you may want to listen to. So comedy, supernatural, news, crime, you name it.
Mm-hmm. Along with some of our personal favorites too, which we're going to get to near the end. And first, we're going to talk about some top 5, top 10s in some categories, like see, science and arts.
Okay, so I have to screen. So the top 5 for science are hidden brains. Yep, I can't read that, but it's okay.
Making sense with where'd it go? Making sense with Sam Harris. Shortwave invisibilia.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. And ologies with Ali Ward. And the two that I was particularly interested in. Hidden Brain, exploring the human brain and unconscious patterns that drive us. So like why we do the things that we do, which is I think really interesting, but also kind of scary. Like I'm not sure I want to know what drives me to do what I do. It's one of those like nice mysteries that you but again, like I do want to know, but I also am like, oh, what's going on?
It's like the more interesting like psychology classes that you can take, but like they're on a podcast versus in the classroom.
Yeah. So you could listen and be horrified and then turn it off and like go for a walk and be like, okay, I'm ready to learn the rest.
Yeah. And be like, you know what? I'm not going to pursue psychology as a career.
And then Ologies by Ali Ward, where she and her guests talk about all the different ologies. So, any ology. So nessology, which is taxidermy, and virology, which is actually like the science of viruses, which when I first read it, I definitely thought something else.
Okay, so there's also art. Oh, I don't even know any of these. Wow. Okay, so there's fresh air, moth, which is scary because I don't like bugs.
Oh, me either.
99% invisible, which is what I wish to be. Phoebe reads a mystery and the Magnus Archive.
So 99 cent. Wow. Okay, I'm all right. 99% invisible is actually about design technology, like architecture and how like things that we don't really see make up so much of our lives. Phoebe reads a mystery, exactly what it sounds like. Phoebe Judge reads a chapter a day from a mystery novel. And the Moth podcast, which I'm actually pretty interested in, is real stories told by real people in front of an audience. So like imagine going in front of an audience and being like, I'm going to tell you guys a story about my life. Which is a whole other kind of terrifying, but also kind of interesting. Like, I mean, I know they're not always going to be comedic stories. I'm sure some of them are very serious, but it's kind of like the better stand-up comedy, you know, when you talk about like things that happened in your life. My story would have to be comedic. I'm not telling a sad story if this were to happen, which it will not.
I feel like I would be terrified doing any of that, but
I mean, public speaking in general, people who are good at it, like, blow my mind. Like, people who could just get up and be like, I'm talking now about a thing that I know. I'm like, wow. Right? It's, like, impressive. I think it's so impressive.
It's also like when you sit in the classroom and you have a question, but you're too scared to ask the question, but other people have no problem raising their hands and then just asking questions. And then I'm like,
how do you do it? Whispering like down the rows, how do you do it? Yeah. Or I need to know something.
Right? Or like handing in a test, and you have to walk up to hand it in. And be like, I don't want to be the first person to do it, so I have to wait until like 10 people go up, and then I just go with them.
But I always find that the whole handing in your testing is so nerve-wracking because like you have to gather all your stuff, right?
Right?
So you're like gonna hit someone with your book bag. You have to shimmy out of the aisle. You're
Yeah.
walking up there. Is everyone looking at you walking up there? Are they thinking that didn't take a lot of time? She failed. Or are they thinking, wow, she's a goody two shoes. She knows everything. And
Right?
you're walking up to the thing, you put it in front of the teacher, and they don't say anything to you. They just give you a look like, okay. And
Like,
you're like, great, thanks. I feel reassured and confident now. Thank you.
yeah. All right, before we go
the
off
whole
another
system.
tangent. Okay, next we have. Oops, we're not working today. Okay, comedy. So top 10 are Joe Rogan Experience, Call Her Daddy, Barstool Sports, Office Ladies. So if you like The Office, I highly recommend that one. Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Morbid, a true crime podcast. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Views with David Dobrik.
Dobrik.
And
Dobrik.
okay. WTF with Mark Maron and Oh Hello, the podcast.
So, okay, we have to talk about the Oh Hello podcast because
Okay.
when I saw this, I was like hysterically laughing because in case you don't recognize them, that's John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. And they're both comedians and comedic writers. I believe they both have worked on SNL. And this podcast is them literally like adopting the characters of two geriatrics. And they're talking about the life and death of Princess Diana, which me and Kelsey just went on a little Google search to find out because I've listened to almost all of John Mulaney's podcasts, and he not podcasts, sorry, comedy routines, and he is hysterical, so funny. His jokes are like just amazing. I love it. But I always remember, and I think he's alluded to it in other podcasts, but I don't remember him telling the story, and I had to look it up. About how he's responsible for killing Princess Diana somehow. And it's like this big thing where everyone is like, oh yeah, John Mulaney killed Princess Diana. And to be clear, he did not, as far as we know. And it turns out it's like part of a comedy bit where his dad tells him that Princess Diana is dead, but he tells him in such a way that it makes it sound like John Mulaney is somehow responsible, even though he was like a little kid. So I just thought it was so freaking funny that he made an entire podcast pretty much based on the premise that he had something to do with or know something that we don't know about Princess Diana's death. It's just hysterical. Sorry, I thought that was so funny. And I'm glad it's in the top 10. I really do think he's kind of like a comedic genius. He's very funny. If you have a chance to watch or listen to any of his comedy sets, I highly recommend.
Yeah. And then if you do, let us know.
Yeah, tell us in the comments, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So next, we also have society and culture, or pop culture and things like that. Whoops, why did I keep happening? So the top 10 here is Unlocking Us with Green Brown, which I think I said her name wrong, but she is a very popular author. There's Wind of Change, This American Life, The Happiness Lab, which is really good. Stuff You Should Know, which is also very good. Supernatural with Ashley Flowers. No Stupid Questions. The Dissenters with Deborah Messing and Madonna. Nope. Madonna Dayani. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mandana Dayani.
Okay, thank you. Freakonomics Radio, and I'm going to butcher that one too, but I'll just let you read that one.
Oh, the Anthropocene Reviewed.
Oh.
Love Dober Messing. She's Grace and Will and Grace, in case you don't know. So what's the first one? Oh, Unlocking Us. Human emotions, experiences, how we strive towards human connection. So like I feel like it's the more emotional kind of hidden brain that we just talked about. So it's not like so much what drives us, but what you know, like our relationships, like our interconnectedness with people. And there's one episode in particular that talks about how you should apologize, which I think everyone should listen to, because
Oh, yeah.
so many times people apologize and they're just like, I'm sorry that you feel offended. And I'm like, that's not an apology. The second one, Wind of Change. I am so excited for this. I have to tell you, I did not listen to this yet, but I'm going to. This is about in the 1990s when the Berlin Wall fell. There was a song of the revolution, Wind of Change by the Scorpions. And then decades later, a journalist hears a rumor that it wasn't written by the Scorpions, but by the CIA. And this is like an entire conspiracy podcast about, is this true or not? And so rarely you actually hear of conspiracy theories that are not only plausible, but that people are actually doing the work to find out if they're true. And I'm very, very interested in this. I don't know. It sounds so crazy, but also not that crazy. That's why I think that's a good conspiracy theory. Like, this is just like, maybe this artist didn't write the song, but then who did?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a whodunit, but also like a correction of you know, not American history, global history, I guess you would say. And then also, what are the implications of that? What if that's true, that this artist didn't write it, and that the CIA and American government, like department of, you know, the American government, I don't know, what is the CIA? I'm rambling, I'm sorry. If a section of the American government commissioned this to be the song of the revolution, like, what's their agenda then? I'm very interested. It sounds crazy.
I think
it sounds crazy, but just plausible enough to work.
Yeah, that's gonna be on my list too now, because I need to know.
I'm wondering. As soon as I saw that, I was like, excuse me? Because it just sounds just crazy. Possible enough, right? Okay. Yeah. And then there's also This American Life, which is journalism. It's described as journalism built around a plot. So it's like just conversations about what's going on in the world, but built around a central theme. And one of the more recent episodes was actually about sports. So it was people's favorite sports stories from their past, since sports are currently on hold at this time.
What? Did we lose you?
No, sorry, I had to cough.
Oh. I was like, oh no.
No, I'm fine. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting too. And those are the top 3 of the top 10. So.
Very cool. Yeah, I need to listen to Wind of Change ASAP. Okay, so some of the podcasts that I enjoy are On Purpose with Jay Shetty. I love him. I just love how when he speaks and he talks to his guests, it's almost like he's talking to you, and like you guys are like lifelong friends, and I just love it. The Bella's podcast, which if you're a fan of WWE wrestlers, they are twins, and one of them is like the longest reigning women's champion and things like that. So it's all about them and their life and what they're doing now, which is really cool. And also kind of, I guess we talk about their show a little bit too.
So I don't know this about you. Are you a WWE wrestler fan?
A little bit. Yeah. Fun fact.
Hey, don't be ashamed of what you like. I think that the entire premise is pretty cool, but I just never got into it. Like, it's like athletic performance arts, which is like a weirdly strange but I can understand. It's a weirdly strange but compelling kind of combination. So I get it.
Yeah, well,
I get it.
I started with there's a TV show called Total Divas, which the name is weird, but like it's a lot of the women wrestlers, and it's like their stories and how like they have shaped the women's side of wrestling in WWE, and how like they're making it better than what it used to be, and how like stereotypical it was, and you know, just gender roles and things like that. So it was really interesting to watch. And then the twins kind of did their own spin-off and became super famous and all that. So I kind of just keep up with that. Yeah. So I also like The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I love him. He's great. I still have to read his book though. I also listen to The Tripod. So if you like BuzzFeed, there was a group of 4 guys called the Try Guys, and they always had these videos of things that they would do, and it was just really funny. And eventually they created their own channel. Now they have their own podcast.
I love them.
I know,
they're
right?
so funny. They're so funny. They're so weird too. Like they do the weirdest things. They will literally try anything. They did a video where they tried like drag. They did a video where they tried driving under the influence, like in a course like that they set up, like not on a road, like not on the open road. But so funny.
They also did a show of tie-dyeing things, and they tie-dyed a couch.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
And they each did a cushion. It was hilarious. And then they were gonna give it away to people. But I love them, and I feel like their podcast is hilarious because it feels like you're kind of there with them, and they're talking about nonsense for 20 minutes or an hour. And I also like Work in Progress with Sophia Bush. Sophia Bush was on One Tree Hill.
Oh my God, loved that show. Sorry, but
no, you're good.
Brooke Davis is like the original boss girl that, like, you know how now in TV shows they have that girl who's like, I'm gonna hustle, I'm going to this amazing college, I'm gonna be a scientist or a doctor, I'm gonna be a dancer, and I'm gonna be the best at it.
Yep.
Brooke Davis was the original, I'm gonna be the best girl,
exactly.
in like the most amazingly supportive role model kind of way. Yeah. And I know that sounds like so, you know, whatever, Andrea, it was a TV show in the early 2000s, but it's true. But it's true.
And I love her podcast. I feel like she's just like Brooke Davis. Like she always like is trying to do better and teach people and just spread so much stuff and like information. I just love it. I just like how she presents things and how she's just so true and honest to herself. So I definitely recommend that one. Have you listened to that one, Andrew?
I have not listened to it, but it's definitely on my list now. See, as much as you guys are learning what to listen to, so are we.
Yeah.
Now we have like 5 more things for our list that we're gonna have to like rotate through, basically, because now I'm interested in like so many more things. And I love Sophia Bush. I think she's a great actress, and she has been like a really great advocate too. I'm very like, I didn't even know that she had a podcast until Kelsey told me. So
I think it's fairly new. I think I downloaded all the episodes now. I was like, I'm gonna just listen to all of them now because I love her.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to.
So some of the podcasts that I listen to are My Brother and Me, which are the McElroy Brothers. It's a comedy advice show. So they go on Yahoo Answers and they pick questions to do a dramatic reading of. And I know that I've been saying like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. Truly, I look like an absolutely insane person when I'm driving down the road listening to this because I cannot stop laughing. Like I will be like in the throes of like hysterics when I'm like merging on the highway. It looks insane. Like I look like a complete nutcase. It's so funny. They have a whole bunch of, so they answer the questions and the advice that they give is not good. And they have a whole bunch of different sections too. So they have a section called Riddle Me This, where the middle brother, Travis, gives them kind of like an insane riddle that like doesn't have a good answer. Like, you know, when like a little kid makes up a joke and the punchline is completely nonsensical.
Yeah.
So he'll tell the riddle and his other brothers have to guess what the ending of the riddle is. And it's like impossible to guess. It's so funny though, hearing their justifications and hearing them try. And both of his other brothers hate this section. They like get so mad when he tries to do it. It's just so funny. Their interactions as a family, and they have a few other podcasts actually. One of their other podcasts is on here too, Sawbones, which is the oldest brother and his wife, and she's a doctor, and they kind of talk about skipping way ahead. They talk about medical practice through history, where she knows a lot and he knows nothing, so it's really funny. Anyway, the McElroy Brothers, pretty much everything they touch is gold. Everything is funny. I'll talk more about them later because it's inevitable when we talk about stories. So good. They do live shows for my brother and me. And recently, Lin-Manuel Miranda did a parody of We Didn't Start the Fire that's literally all about their lives. It's so funny. I mean, seriously, do yourself a favor, listen to this, even if it's just for a good laugh. So good. It's really, I look like an insane person driving down the road listening to this. Completely crazy. Let's talk about Myths Baby. Is a millennial talking about Greek and Roman myths, so kind of like the hard look at like some of the more disturbing aspects or some of the more like glossed over aspects of Greek and Roman myths, which I love. I was one of those girls who like watched Hercules on a loop when I was 10. Like,
yeah,
I was in it. So that's just like a good reminder, not reminder, a good like kind of, I guess, reminder, refresher about all of the Greek and Roman myths that I love. I think that they're good storytelling. They're also good like moral lessons. The myth of Medusa being one of my faves.
Yeah,
Love that.
I love that one.
Beach Too Sandy, Water Too Wet. This was recommended to me by one of my friends, and it's dramatic retellings of 1-star reviews that are just like nuts. Like people being like, I hated this restaurant because the walls were blue. Like, you know, when people just want to complain. It's so funny. And That's Why We Drink. It's a paranormal and crime podcast where the two hosts are drinking from the very beginning, and they talk about what they're drinking, which is very interesting. And they talk about just different paranormal and true crime stories. I think I'm not going to say that because I don't know for sure. I was going to say, I think they talked about, never mind. It's really funny. It's really interesting. They just talk about a lot of like in-depth, like into like paranormal sightings and places that they've actually been, places that they want to go, true crime stories that are like kind of crazy that you're like, no way, could that happen? Really funny, really interesting. Sawbones, I already kind of talked about it. And An Archivist Tale, which is more serious and more career focused for me. This is actually not a comedy podcast like almost all the others. I really like to laugh, so.
Which is good.
An Archivist Tale is actually just about the profession of archival study and maintenance, and they talk guest archivists talk about their passion and the future of the field and everything like that. It's very interesting.
But
cool. Definitely it's more of like a cerebral one where I'm like, I should learn more about the thing that I like, you know, the thing that I plan to do with my life. I should learn about that.
As if you don't study enough, Andrew.
I know. None of you know me, most likely. But I'm kind of like a scheduled every minute of the day person. Like I will take 15 classes and be like, it's fine, I'm not stressed out.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not true. I'm very stressed out. It's not a good idea. Don't do that to yourself. But I can't help myself. And literally, I think, Kelsey, you've known me for like maybe 5 months now, and 3 of them have been when we were in quarantine. So like, does it count? I don't know. But even Kelsey, as soon as I said that, like, you don't study enough. Yeah. So yeah. It's a pretty overwhelming big part of my personality that I'm just like, I'm just gonna do this one extra thing, no big deal. And then everyone's like, Andrea, you're literally like just digging a hole. You're just digging yourself in deeper. I believe Kelsey said to me, like, I was like, maybe I'll do an internship over the summer, which, you know, obviously is most likely not going to happen now. And she was like, do you think that's a good idea? Like, maybe you should take a break. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely take a break. It's not a big deal. Maybe I'll only do it one day a week, but you know, unless they need me 2 days a week, and then I'm going to be working full time. And also there's this class that I really want to take. And Kelsey's like, listen.
Yeah. I think the look I gave you was like, are you kidding me right now?
And I was like, no, you're right. So one good thing about being quarantined, well, about having been quarantined, I guess, is I had to calm down a little bit.
Just good. You need that.
I had to listen to some podcasts and do a little virtual podcast show with my friend and colleague. So,
all right. Did you have any other ones that you did not list on here that you want to talk about, or you good?
No, I don't think so. Those ones are my main ones, and I think for our next podcast, we're going to be talking more about stories and podcasts.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking more about our personal faves then, I think, too.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. We kind of just go with the flow in a way.
I mean, that last tangent was so big. I just talked about myself for like 5 minutes. You guys don't care. Kelsey's like, Andrea, we're finished. Andrea.
I like to go to the next slide.
Are we done? Okay, we're done. It's fine. You guys don't care about that. We're gonna cut that all out in post. No, we're not. We don't know how to do that. Everything that's recorded stays. So you guys just know things now.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you again next Tuesday for our last session. But until then, have a good one.
Take it easy.